Hello everyone, this is Vexy again. Nice to be here with you. Today we're gonna talk about one of the games I feel that we're playing here in this existence at this time. And the game that I'm referring to today is the game of karma, but I'm not gonna talk too much about karma. I'm gonna talk about maybe a more simplified version of this game. So the way I see it, and I hate to start sentences with the way I see it or in my opinion, because most of the time I'm so sure about I'm in a knowing stage, not in a I think stage or I believe stage. Just like I don't believe that there's a God, there is a God. But I will say that the way I see it is the existence here in this world is very much controlled, very much pragmatized or structured, and we are being harvested from our energy since we were born, and the adults, they lower our vibrations to get us to live in their way or in the adult way. But it's more than that. We have the elites of the world, very rich people, billionaires and their families. They control pretty much everything, and since they have so much money and they could do whatever they want, the next thing in line is power. So they're trying to control us, and they are also being controlled. So it's an hierarchy. For someone that wants to go deeper in this, you can ask me questions, but the elites are being controlled to control us, if it makes sense. So our energy is the most important thing for them to take. So if there's a good day you're having and you feel good and something happens and you feel that you lowered your vibration or went in a bad loop of thoughts and feelings, and good and bad is, we're not going to talk about it today, but bad for me in this situation would mean shame, guilt, fear, resentment, all of those lower vibrations. You can search lower vibrations and you'll see it. So this is the place that you are vulnerable to this energy harvest. And the game that we're playing, and we should be playing, is to keep on getting the lower vibrations from the outside world and from the people you know and from your loved ones also, and alchemize them into good vibrations and to higher vibrations. So let's say, for example, I'm not making anything up, happened yesterday. I was on a phone call with a friend. I was very, very in a loving vibration, and I wanted to give her, and she shared with me the things that she's experiencing now when she's in Thailand. I'll be in a few weeks. And I was asking questions because I wanted to help, but I also wanted to know for myself, is she really thinking that the best way for her to live is to live in some kind of bliss or euphoria, and then having those panic attacks and anxiety she's having, because she thinks this is the way to live. She thinks as of now that this is the life that I guess the best for her. Now I really wanted to know, so I asked her, do you really believe that? And ever since I asked this question, the conversation took a left turn. And what happened is I guess she was hurt by my question, and she assumed the reason for me asking this question. And trust me, it's not a good recipe for a conversation that you think that the other person is not thinking the best of you and thinking he knows more about you than yourself, which of course I'm not. I was asking a question, but I asked this question and we took this turn, and the conversation got more deep and more, I guess, in her experience was more into the survival mode and into her boundaries, which is good that she has boundaries, but the way that she expressed them and the way that she assumed before she went into this state wasn't the best act on this situation. So after the conversation ended with she hanging up on me, basically saying bye in the middle of my sentence, of course I felt a little bit lower than I was before the conversation. But it's so important to take the things that you can take, and no, this is what I did wrong. This is what I could have done better, and the rest is not on me. It's not mine. It's so important for you to experience life in a way that you're eager to learn, you're eager to understand, and to get better. But sometimes things aren't in your learning path and in your journey, and you have to let those things go. And to be honest, I'm not sure that after our next conversation we will ever talk again, because I don't think that you have to be in a constant effort and walking on eggshells. I'm not sure if it's a saying in English. I think so. And to always be cautious and having this large effort, especially if it's not your partner. I think things should be flowing, and I'm also a water sign, so I think that things should flow always, and not having this effort. But sometimes you could experience situations that trigger some side of the conversation, and then you do this work of, did I do this wrong? Did I talk not in my highest of truth, not in the highest truth of mine? And I think that since I came into this conversation and I completely was in service for her, I was very, very hurt to see that she was so triggered by what I'm saying, because I didn't say anything other than asking the questions, and she didn't even let me say the reason that I asked those questions. She just assumed. And assumptions are the devil, Assumptions could be good when you're playful and getting to know someone, but when you know someone, or when you think you know someone, and even though people are changing, they have the same past always, even though our actions also change the past. This is for another conversation. But you know the person, the experience you had with them, and I was in service most of our conversations. So I was very hurt to see that this time when I really tried to be there for her, she assumed that my intentions aren't very good, and she also was pretty pretentious, I think, because she was she was telling me that maybe that I should listen. She cut me off in the middle of a sentence, and she told me that maybe I should listen because maybe there's something I could learn from this, which I think is not a good saying for me always, but for most people, it's not. You're assuming that the other person needs to learn, and this is the only way. And I didn't assume anything. I thought that maybe I won't get into this, but I thought that she was limiting her bliss and euphoria feelings during this trip because she said that she was in a peak, and this peak could be even a low place for someone else. Some people are experience this peak she was mentioning for the entire year almost, except for the low parts. So I was trying to amplify her and to make her feel even better, but she took it to the other way, that I'm getting her out of the now and the present moment. And it's okay for people to, not be on the same page. It's very, very fine, and I think that we should take this to the best place that we could. I woke up this morning, I thought about it, I wrote the things that I think that I could have done better, and for me, I'm not gonna think about it anymore because I don't want to waste my energy on things that I don't even interact with them on a daily basis. She's someone that we speak usually. Our conversations are spaced with months in between, so I have nothing to do with that, and we'll see. I think that the next conversation will decide, for me at least, if we're going to keep on being friends or not. And if not, it's okay. I'm not gonna lose too much. So on that note, I'm just gonna remind you that everything you experience, you can learn from them, you can grow from them, but keep in mind that if you're always taking this negative energy or always taking the trauma that people have and not changing it and morphing it into something that is positive and elevating for you, you're always gonna go down in the experiences you have in life, and we want to go up all the time, or most of the time. So hope this makes sense and that my message went through, and I hope you have an elevated day and an uplifting day and a joyful day. And don't limit yourself on the joy that you can experience, because you can experience joy almost all the time. Have a good one. Bye bye.